In Scotland has epilepsy. The condition is second to migraine as the most common neurological disorder in Britain. But according to the Epilepsy Association in Scotland, there's still widespread ignorance of the condition, which affects many children as well as adults. Connie Henderson reports on the start of Epilepsy Week.
11-year-old John Paul Dalton from Livingston is one of 25,000 Scots who have epilepsy. Apart from the odd missed lesson caused by his daily seizures, John Paul is just like any normal sports-mad schoolboy. One of the regular visitors to the family centre run by the Livingston Epilepsy Group, he's proof that epilepsy needn't restrict his everyday life.
It doesn't really affect his day-to-day life at all. He does everything that a normal wee boy does, but a lot of what he does has to be observed a lot more closely. You have to take precautions. A lot of people just don't understand epilepsy. Although it's talked about a lot more now than it was when he was younger, they think of it as being something rather unclean and that they don't want to know about. They don't accept that he is just a normal wee boy with this wee problem.
Sometimes I see colours going across the floor, and other times I get a pain in my hand. I just go up and tell the teachers and they take me through to the medical room and I lie down there for a wee while.
Epilepsy is caused by a disturbance in the normal electrical activity in the brain, which in turn triggers off a faint or a fit. The severity of the attack can vary greatly, but 80% of cases can be controlled by drugs.
If someone has a fit once, that doesn't necessarily mean they've got epilepsy. I wouldn't jump to that conclusion. But if they're having them repeatedly, maybe at short intervals, maybe at long intervals, some people maybe just have a fit or a seizure every 2 or 3 years or something of that sort. That's what epilepsy is.
According to the Epilepsy Association in Scotland, people with epilepsy still suffer prejudice both socially and at work. The current Epilepsy Week hopes to put paid to some of the myths surrounding the condition.
Many people are very ignorant about the condition, about what it is and what it isn't. And they probably tune in to many of the old ideas, the idea that epilepsy is a visitation by the devil. We feel that it's important for all members of the public to understand, because in that way we will hopefully get rid of the stigma and break down the barriers and enable people with epilepsy to be treated as in fact they are, just as anybody else.
Epilepsy Week continues until Friday. In time, the association hopes to create a national support network for all in Scotland who live with epilepsy. Connie Henderson, BBC Reporting Scotland, Livingston.
A campaign has been launched